Good morning, dear students of class 12. We were taking up invitations, and in invitations we had studied how to draft a formal invitation. So let's have a quick recap. Invitation is sent to near and dear ones on special occasions such as marriage, birth, celebrations, etc. When the function is formal, then we draft a formal invitation. It is also extended formal invitation for public events or functions to the general public. Now, in order to write this formal invitation, it is written in a box and third person is used. No abbreviations are to be used. Simple present tense is used when we draft a formal invitation. Then each entry is to be mentioned on a separate line. The name of the person who is inviting or name of persons who are inviting is written on the top. Then it is followed by a polite invitation phrase like request the pleasure of your company, cordially invite you, solicit your gracious presence, etc. Then occasion, time, date, etc. is mentioned. Now, in case the function has a chief guest, name of the chief guest, designation is given. Sometimes programs are also written briefly. Then towards the end, we write RSVP, which includes address and telephone number of the person who is giving the invitation. Then towards the end, some instructions in brief can also be written. So this was just a brief recap of drafting a formal invitation. We have already done this. Now we come over to the next thing that we are going to work on is, we discussed yesterday RSVP, which means Responde s'il vous plaît. Reply please. Courtesy demands if we receive an invitation, a formal invitation, we should reply either we are able to accept the invitation or we regret to accept the invitation. So we are going to learn how to draft formal replies of acceptance and regret for formal invitation. The first point that should be acknowledge the invitation. That is, you thank the person who has invited you by expressing thanks. It should be written in third person. It can be or need not be signed at the end. When accepting, you confirm the date and time. And when declining, give reason and convey your best wishes. Give date and address also at the top left hand or right hand. Now let us work on formal acceptance example. Now you are Ajay Kumar of 7 Park Avenue, Delhi. Draft a reply accepting an invitation to attend a housewarming party hosted by your colleague. Now this invitation can be also written in an informal manner, but if you have received a card, you are going to reply it in a formal manner. So this is how it is written. First, your address, then Mr. and Mrs. Gupta, it is written in third person. That is, you have received. Mr. and Mrs. Ajay Gupta have received. Thank Mrs. and Mr. Satish Sarma for their kind invitation on the housewarming party on, mention the date and time, which they are delighted to accept. It is their great pleasure to attend the ceremony. You may sign or may not sign. Both are acceptable. Now what you have done? First you have thanked. Then you have given confirmation that you are going to accept the invitation. Now the next part is formal refusal, regret. That is, you have received an invitation but you will not be able to attend. You are Mr. Ajay Gupta of 7 Park Avenue, Delhi. Draft a reply of refusal expressing inability to attend a housewarming party hosted by your colleague. So this is formal refusal. You have received a formal card of invitation, and for that you are giving a formal refusal, a regret. Your address, then Mrs. and Mr. Gupta thank Mrs. and Mr. Satish Sharma for their kind invitation on the housewarming party at, date is given, time, but regret their inability to accept due to urgent and unavoidable arrangement or assignment abroad. And signature. You may or may not give. Now just see, the tone of this letter is formal and it is in third person. First, you have thanked for the kind invitation, acknowledged, and then send a regret, polite regret along with the reason. So that's all for your today's class. You have learnt how to draft a formal refusal or formal regret for a formal card of invitation that you have received. I hope you all have understood. In case of any queries, you can post this in your group, and then you will also be provided with the resource material for more practice. Make sure that all this is done in your notebooks. Thank you, students, for today's class.